On, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA channel. Guys, today we're going to be recapping UFC 313. I'm with the boys, as always, Xavier and Nicholas.
How do you
Um,
do?
how we doing, boys?
I mean, mixed bag here, mixed bag, but overall, I'm happy with the outcome. Um, families were fed, families were fed. That's all I can say.
with zero takedowns. But hey, man, I'm doing well. I thought the main event stunk. I thought the rest of the card was all right. Like, I actually think the main card honestly under-delivered compared to the rest. But I'm ready to get into it. I have many things to say about that main event.
All right, well, let's get right into it then. The main event, Magomed Ankalaev defeats Alex Pereira via unanimous decision. Pretty, I mean, competitive fight in terms of the rounds. A lot of people had it 3-2. I'm seeing some 4-1s. I see 3-2 for even Pereira. So like the community's pretty split. Before we get into it, how did you guys score the fight? I'd probably give it 3-2. Ankalaev, he won 3, 2, and 4 in the middle rounds.
Uh, yeah, I guess. Wait, you said two, three, and four?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought that like for sure he won two, three, and four, but I also gave him one more round. I thought that he also did enough to like. I thought that Prayer only won one round, to be honest, in the whole fight.
Okay.
When I was watching it live, mind you, like because Pereira's the champ, I could see giving him a couple extra of those like coin tossy rounds because I think that like you do have to beat the champ to be the champ. But I thought that in the middle rounds, Ankalaev did enough for sure to secure the win. It wasn't the most exciting performance, like you guys alluded to. But I thought that Uncle Life was doing enough to win. And at the end of the day, I'm not a casual. Aside from Uncle Life being on my team, I've pleaded with this man for months and months. You guys can go back look at old videos of me talking about it, but he had to wrestle. I thought that his path to victory here was a less entertaining one anyway. Now, I thought it would be a lot more entertaining than this, to be honest, but and I kind of envisioned him more getting on top or like at least getting Pereira down, which like shout out Pereira for his takedown defense. Um, I think he was like 0 for 12, which was crazy, but what he was allowing him to do was like get into the clinch where he was like holding Pereira against the cage for like long stretches of time, chipping away with little shots. I mean, just winning the fight, doing enough to like not get him separated too often. I think it happened like once, right? But
Yeah.
for the most part, like he was doing enough to hold the position, and I mean, he won the fight. He also like clipped Pereira at the end of round two, had him on skates, like. 40 more seconds of that fight, like who knows what would have happened there. But so he also had like the biggest moments of the fight, even though they were few and far between. So I thought he did enough to win.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I had Uncle Live winning 49-46. Uh, I don't know, man. Y'all, there's a lot to say on this one. Round by round, Pahea was doing good work early. He was chopping the legs away. He was having Uncle Live back up at least, and he was throwing. I don't know if he defended a takedown in the first. I don't even know if Uncle Live attempted one. Like I told y'all, he was going to stand. Well, what I did not expect for the rest of the fight for Pajetas to completely shut down, focus only on the takedown defense, and give the fight away, in my opinion. I liked what I saw from Uncle Ive in some aspects. I liked that he was breaking Pajea's rhythm through the takedown attempts and even just in the clinch. Um, and he had some nice power shots throughout the fight. You know, the pressure was okay. I just feel like he could have done a little more even, just throw a little more out there. You know, I even think spamming single legs, I think he could single legs all day. I think he was just focused too much on the body lock and clinch, where he wasn't doing enough work. He did enough to win this fight, basically because Bahia did not show up. Literally, keep everything he did in the first round, he could have done that whole fight, literally, and would have won. So it's one of those weird ones where Ungolive clearly won, deserves to win. He's a good fighter, but that's two title fights now that are just very questionable to me. And I don't know, man. I don't know if he hangs on to this belt. I think in a rematch, Pereira has a good chance to beat him. So we'll just see. I was just disappointed in the fight. I thought both fighters could have just thrown a lot more out there, just done a lot more.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the fight was gonna be. I thought this was gonna be a war, man. These two have been like shit talking each other forever. Ank's been like the rightful challenger for ever since he honestly had that Jan fight. I was expecting this to be a 205 classic, biggest 205 fight since the DC and Jones rivalry. But yeah, it didn't live up to the hype. I thought Alex Pereira was very disappointing. Like you said, Clark, I think he did good work with the leg kicks. His takedown defense was excellent. But even with the leg kicks, I've seen him do much more in other fights. I thought his boxing was absolutely awful. He let nothing go with his hands. I thought his head kicks were actually really good, especially in that last round. Magomed, yeah, I'm very surprised he didn't get a single takedown. Getting 10 stuff is pretty bad. And yeah, he gave him the Jose Aldo treatment. But besides that, I thought he was getting the better of him on the feet. I thought he was doing great work to Pereira on the body. And yeah, he landed the biggest shots in the fight. Alex Pereira, I don't know how to word this. He's not chinny, and I'm not saying he doesn't like to get hit, but like he doesn't have the chin of like some greats. And I think that is also a big thing for him. I don't think he can give. I don't think he can take as much as he can give when it comes to getting hit in the head, but I think the right guy won. Right after the fight, I was like, oh damn, Pereira would probably win the rematch. But the more I think of it, like the rematch is probably going to happen soon. How much is Pereira going to improve? And yeah, what do you guys think about a rematch?
I mean,
Because
to
that's what they're
me,
going to do.
yeah, that's definitely what they're gonna do. To me, I don't think that he has to improve as much as he has to just show up more. Like you said, he kind of abandoned the leg kicks. I've seen him be way more like consistent with that. And in the fight, I was kind of attributing it mostly to being afraid of the takedown, like you said. I think that a lot of what mentally stifled him here was the fear of the takedown. I think that he was like because of like how good he did in his takedown defense compared to in other areas of the fight. It's like he was clearly there mentally for the takedown defense, but not necessarily for the output. I think that had Ankalaev like thrown more strikes at him, I think that that like warrior spirit would have like awakened in him a little bit more. I think that anyone who's been in a fight knows that like when you get hit, you kind of like there's a part of you that just kind of wants to get that back. So you get a little more aggressive for a second anyway. Um, and I feel like because the way Ankalaev was winning was more so not really damaging him that much, he never got that like anger and like killer instinct that I've seen him get in other fights. Like when Khalil Roundtree clipped him in their fight, like you saw him right after that get on Khalil Roundtree's ass. You know what I mean? Like he wanted it back. Like let's go. Okay, let's go. Like sometimes when you get hit and you realize you can take it a little bit, you're like, all right, let's go. But because a lot of the fight took place in like the clinch and like with them like kind of staring at each other from distance mostly, with Ankalaev being like just slightly more active. I just thought that he never really got that like anger going, that like warrior spirit going tonight. But that like for a rematch, like this fight, like Ankalaev both won and like did nothing to convince me that like Pereira could not win a rematch, you know? That's kind of how I felt. I think they both have a better fight in them. I would kind of expect the second fight to play out better than this one, just because like I think that they both know that like this was kind of a shitter in a way, and I think that at least on Alex Pereira's side, he's gonna like be more active, throw more. And I think that that will just bring a better fight out of Ankalaev. But yeah, I don't know about a prediction right now, but like I could definitely see the rematch going both ways. Like this fight does very little to like influence me on like as to how another fight would go, honestly.
Yeah, I think I'm in
Yeah,
the same boat.
I agree.
I would slightly lean Magomed, but
I
let's
I lean Pay all day. All we
okay.
need is one shot to take anybody out. I'm gonna take that guy all day.
For now, I'm gonna take Magomed, but like I could pick Flip. I could definitely pick Flip on the way, like depending on how the vibes are feeling. If Pereira's saying the right things, like looking like he's doing the right things, I don't know.
But yeah. All right, regardless, I think we all think the right guy won. Let's talk about what's next for both of these guys. We all agree here like a rematch should be next. Relatively soon, like you said, none of them took a lot of damage. I see a lot of people saying like Yuri should fight Magomed. I hate that idea personally. Does anyone want to see Ankalaev fight anyone at 205 besides Pereira next?
I mean, quite frankly, like I think it would be cool if Pereira got a little time and like, depending on the health of Yuri, like if Uncle F could get another title shot in, another title defense in there real quick, because I do think that he beats Yuri, and I also think that like Pereira could beat him, and then he could just have a flash in the pan type of. Like I do think that like he's like what 32. I think that either way, like even if Pereira wins, I think that he still gets back to the title before
Yeah.
his career's over. Either way. But I think that if he got a title defense in there before he rematched Alex, I feel like that would be cool. Just a fresh matchup type shit. But I think that rightfully Pereira deserves a rematch if the timelines work out. Like if no one's hurt and shit, like that should be the next fight.
Yeah, I'd say Pay, or if Olberg beats Blachowicz, I say let him scrap for it.
But a big talking point about this fight was if Pereira were to get past Ankalaev here, he's going up to heavyweight. There's nothing really for him at 205 to do. This is kind of a buzzkill here, but do you think heavyweight is still in the future of Pereira?
Um,
He's 37.
I mean, in the fact that he doesn't seem to really give a fuck about like anything but fighting, to be honest. I think so. Um, I think that he's one of those guys that like he's not gonna like stop fighting because he's off a loss type shit. I think that like he said, like I'm gonna go back to training, I'm gonna go back to fighting, like this is my life. And I feel like he's just like a martial, like a lifelong martial artist. He doesn't seem like one of these guys like a Izzy even or a Connor who's gonna take his UFC fame and kind of try to parlay that into other endorsements and other ventures too much. I'm sure that like he has people in his team that probably will like, help him with his money and shit and like help him generate income outside of just fighting. But I think that in terms of his mentality, his agenda, I think he's a warrior, man. I think I could see him like still fighting another at least 3 years and going up to heavyweight within that for like easily.
This man beat Francis Ngannou's record at the PI. He could be a heavyweight and knock some, especially this weak heavyweight division right now. He could thump some guys up there.
He
Facts.
could, yeah. The only issue is like I don't see him being able to beat the top of the heavyweight division. Being Aspinall and Jones, but no one really beats them, so
Yeah, I mean, except those two,
yeah.
like I can see him beating everybody else.
I'd love a Pereira versus Gon fight.
I think Blades would give him fits too. That's my boy and shit. But I just think like if he just went like got a takedown, like I don't see him. I don't see him getting stuffed how Uncle Life was getting stuffed. I don't think his takedown defense is that good to be stuffing those Blades takedowns. I swear.
Yeah, the top five is definitely
Even like
tougher.
Almeida, even Almeida could be a problem. Like I think, like
It's true.
I think Almeida's a harder
Yeah,
fight.
I agree, but I think that like any of these grapplers up there, like even like if they're not great grapplers by like lower weight division standards, like up there, it's like these are some big boys, man.
Yeah, but it's tough. Yeah, let's see this Pereira live rematch. We'll go from there. Let's move on though, guys. Co-main event: Justin Gaethje defeats Rafael Fiziev by unanimous decision. A decision. It was pretty close. It was pretty similar to the first fight. Fiziev looked really hot early that first round. He gets caught and dropped in the second. Gaethje kind of takes over. It's still a close fight, but Gaethje clearly got the dub. I think it was the rightful decision. Another super fun fight. We all got this pick wrong, unfortunately, on the channel, but still a super fun fight. This fucked up my parlay, but what were you guys' thoughts on what happened?
Um, I think the fight kind of played out very similar to the first one, like you said. I thought that Fiziev kind of fought a smarter fight this time. I don't know if it's because of the way that the first fight played out more so, or because he was in off short notice, but I think he fought a much more measured fight this time. Um, his output was a lot lower, but I think he like managed his energy a lot better. And it kind of led me to think like maybe he would have a better shot at this fight. But by the end, I mean the fact that he was coming in on like 2 weeks notice kind of starts to show its head. Even at the slower pace, I think Gaethje just starts to like march forward like the second half of round two and like round three a little bit more. And even though he didn't like get damaged as much as in the first fight, he's still like I think he just his face is just one that just gets damaged a little bit easier, seemingly. So I mean, the damage was starting to pile up a little bit again, and Gaethje was starting to take over down the stretch. But I mean, like it was like you said, it was like neck and neck. I mean, shout out him for stepping up. I don't think he loses much stock in this again. The one thing I will say is like this current crop of heavyweights. I mean, this current crop of lightweights is like real special, man. And we're gonna appreciate them when they're fucking gone, bro. Gaethje, the Poiriers, like this new gen was like, the way this game typically goes, man, the new gen kind of eats the old. But like these guys are not letting that shit happen, man. They're like taking each other out, but like the Max Holloways, outside of like Ilya Taporia's like new rise, but like for the most part, that old guard has like held shit down these days for sure. And like I'm gonna appreciate Gaethje while he's still here, man. I say I do want to see him like fight Islam before it's all said and done. I don't care if he has to like wait for it, like just
Really?
because like fuck it, man. I think he loses that fight, but like give him one more shot, bro. Like they've been knocking off these younger guys forever, so I mean he just did it again. So shout out him for taking the fight on short notice, and shout out Fiziev for stepping in on short notice and giving us a good performance.
Yeah, I'll definitely miss Gaethje. I don't know about Poirier, but I mean
Dude. Oh,
that
Poirier
boy.
hate's crazy, bro.
Not your
But
boy PSD out. Like you mean?
my boy Oliveira subbed him though. It don't matter. He got him. He got him.
He's so
Anyways, I gauge you winning this fight 29-28. It was exactly like the first fight, honestly. Fiziev had a very nice start. And then I think, I do think a big issue was the late notice step up.
yeah.
I think he was visibly engaged. When do you get that knockdown?
Second round.
Second. Okay. He had a nice knockdown there. Gaethje, definitely a grit man. Came back very well in that fight. The boxing was nice. But I do feel like a big part of it was physique gassing. I think it was clearly showing on him, and he just wasn't throwing as much as he did in the first round or even from the first fight. I think this second fight was a little bit of a downgrade from the first one, but I don't know. I feel like if Aziz came on a, you know, full training camp, I think he maybe gets it done. But Gaethje was impressive, clearly showing again, this old guard. You got to beam to get these title shots. Everyone's pissed that they're the ones getting the title shots, but they're the ones beating all the young guns. So, I mean, you got to beat them. So, I mean, impressive again by Gaethje. Viziv's a tough guy to beat. He's like really the only one who has clearly beat him. Gamrot did not beat him. That was some injury bullshit.
Of course, ACL, yeah. Yeah,
So,
I agree though with you, Nick. Like his shots in the third round, even when he was landing, it didn't have the same thump. And he is coming off a huge layoff. Justin Gaethje though proved me wrong. I thought he was done. I thought he was cooked on that Max fight. I thought it was just his time to go. I guess not. I kind of agree with you, Xavier. Actually, no, I disagree with you, Xavier. I get what you're saying if he waits, but like there are three guys in front of him that I'd rather see fight Islam for the belt again. But for Gaethje, I think the next fight it writes itself. Trilogy fight for with Dustin Poirier.
No, no, they both said they're not doing that.
I know, but they MMA fighters say shit all the time. That is the perfect
Uh,
farewell fight for Gaethje. I mean for Dustin.
it
nah.
sounded like they're doing Poirier versus Max. I thought that got leaked.
Oh, why don't you like Gaethje and Dustin three? It's 1-1. Both fights were really entertaining.
They don't want to fight. That's the thing. They don't want to fight. And like I don't want to see them just one kill the other one for what? You know what I mean? It's like like they both only can take each other out damn near at this point. So it's like I kind of want to see one of these new guys like either break through or like them just keep defending it because like I don't even if like Gaethje never like never touches the title, right? Which I don't like think is gonna happen, but like there is something to be said for like, yeah, but like I didn't let anyone else fucking touch it either, you know? I think that's like I'm gonna remember that as a fight fan. Like none of these old guys, like basically like these guys are gonna have to basically age out of the sport to let these new guys come up and like get title shots damn near. Like I say damn near give Gaethje fucking Arman Suzuki and like make him put him through the wood chipper, you feel me? Because I mean Dana's on that with him anyway. He's gonna have to earn his way back. I think that if Gaethje beats Suzuki and like you can't argue he's next for a title shot. I mean Arman's not gonna get the next one, even though he probably should be getting it. So like fuck it. I just think that like you have to, punish Arman for what he did, for his transgressions. And I think that Gaethje is a winnable fight for him. And I think that if Gaethje gets past Arman, he deserves it. So that's what I would say. I would match those two up.
Man, it just sounds like Magachev running from Oliveira. Why is this
Oh
fight
my
not
God, what are you saying,
that?
Clark? How did we even get here, Clark?
Why
God.
is Charles just sitting there like he's ready? Book him the title fight. Why is Islam not booked yet?
It's because Ilya is stalling a lot of things. Ilya is the big piece the last piece of the puzzle that they're figuring out. I like that idea, Xavier, because I do think Armin should get the next title shot. I get that he pulled out, like all that
You
shit.
but because we know what the UFC's on with him, like this is the perfect like okay, I beat Gaethje now, give me the title shot. Okay, fine, and it's the
No, yeah,
perfect. That shit could like either co-main some shit or like headline a fight night, easy. Like
I like that because when Hooker pulled out, I said Armin should be the one to step in for those exact reasons. He's on dirt with the UFC, and I think he would fuck Justin Gaethje up, and he would deserve a title shot then in Dana's eyes. So
fuck him up is crazy, but like hump him for 3 rounds probably.
I think
I
Armin's
don't
very
think.
tricky on the feet, and I have no faith in Justin Gaethje's jiu-jitsu or takedown defense
Yeah,
against a guy like Armin.
I don't think this man wrestled in college, bro. That's where I'm at with him.
The accolades are fake. They just put him on there.
No, yeah, they're definitely real, but like,
Who was he really
what's
wrestling?
he doing? Yeah, and who was he wrestling for real? What year was that?
He forgot, man. When Fazee was on his ass on the grappling, I was like, ain't no way, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like when he fucking I can't even describe it. It looked like an inverted triangle, like behind with the legs back, but like when he had Gaethje in round one, like locked up with his head just like locked on bottom, and he was like open for body shots. I was like, punch that liver, like fuck, like.
I remember when like he first came on the scene, even when he was fighting Khabib, I was like, "Yo, Gaethje definitely has a really good chance and the best chance to beat Khabib." Because I was like, "Oh, he's insane on the feet," and I keep hearing things about him being like this insane wrestler, and then we saw what happened.
Yeah, work.
Jack shit happened, bro.
Yeah,
Crazy.
but shout out to Gaethje. Yeah, 155, absolutely killers. Let's move on to another 155-pound fight: Jalen Turner versus Inacio Bahamondes. Um, I mean, heartbreaking, devastating loss for Turner. He retired after this. I don't think that retirement's going to stand. I think he's going to take some time off, which hey, good for him, man. You got to take a step back. Take a step back. He's only like 29, clearly super talented. He got on top of Bahamondes and kind of was just getting his ass beat by the elbows from Ignacio off his back, and then got caught in a triangle, and that's all she wrote. What are you guys' thoughts on what went down?
Absolutely heartbreaking. Um we said in the lead up to this fight, like Jalen Turner has all the tools to win this fight, but like can we trust him to do it? Um I think we all said like this is our last time believing in him. Um and he kind of proved why. Clearly his heart is not in the game right now. That's not to say he can't come back, in a year or two, like, a little more reinvigorated, let some of the personal shit he's got going on like mellow out and then, come back with a reinvigorated passion. But right now, he has no grit, no passion for the game. When you go out like that, it's kind of like, oh, sorry about that. When you go out like that, it's kind of like you don't want to be in the cage. Um, I think that that's the vibe I kind of got and kind of have gotten in a lot of his fights when things start to like not go his way. So, I mean, if your heart's not in this game, like I would rather him, retire or, preferably just take some time off. I still think he has more to give the game. He just has to get his mind right.
Definitely.
Uh, yeah, it was tough. Jalen Turner's been my guy for a while. Um, yeah, I liked what I was seeing from him though. Got a nice takedown on Bahamondes. Mix it up on him. I think he was the better wrestler or grappler. So the strat was there. But yeah, I mean, he just kind of allowed Bahamondes to sync it up. Kind of just stood right into it. He tapped pretty quick. I'm just seeing less grit off him. I think he needs some time off to deal with other issues and just rest up. I don't want him to retire like he's saying he wants to.
No.
Um, but yeah, disappointing. Nice win for Bob Munez though. Probably, I think that gets him in the rankings. Probably fight a top 15 guy next. So good for him. Bilal can have a little victory lap. You better be training for that JDM fight because I got him on my team for some reason. So you know, let's get it, man.
Shout out Bahamondes. I think he's cool. Like he kind of takes Jalen Turner's place here as a up and coming prospect. Obviously hasn't fought the same level of comp as him, but you could tell there's something to him. So yeah, you guys said it all. It's just a weird thing. It's just weird.
No, no, Bahamondes, man. I don't want to take anything away from his victory either. I mean, Jalen Turner is an impressive guy to beat. Um, Regardless of like, his recent form. I mean, he's still like an impressive specimen. He's not an easy guy to probably submit in there. Um, so I mean, shout out him for his victory as well. Look forward to seeing him back in the cage against someone who kind of wants to be in there a little bit more so, but I just don't want to take too much away from like what he did as well. Like it was an impressive submission
Definitely.
Mhm.
And there's totally a bunch of fun matchups for him at 155.
for sure.
Let's move on, guys. Women's strawweight bout. Amanda Lemos wins via unanimous decision against Luciendo. Yeah, Luciendo. Not a competitive fight at all. I'm not just trying to dunk on women's MMA, but like this fight was terrible. Luciendo looked absolutely garbage. After this snooze fest, they started hugging it out like they just went to war with each other. Made me sick to my stomach, but I mean, Lemos looked cool, I guess. What did you guys see in this one?
Oh my gosh, that's so fucking funny, man. Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely a boring fight. I kind of thought that this might happen. I didn't think it was gonna look like this, but I thought that Lemos might, show her just like she's not at the level of Lemos yet, skill wise. I mean, she's only like 23, I believe. She still has like a lot of, physical gifts, a lot of like athleticism for the division. I mean, she's youth, she's young, she's getting a lot of experience, and like we're just seeing her grow. I think like both girls are usually in more exciting fights than this. I thought it would be a bit of a more exciting fight than this, but I mean, I think Lemos just kind of like needed to win. Um, Defended her rank. It was 5v7, but like, like the skill level is not like super great in that division in general, and this kind of like showed it. For a 5v7 ranked contenders, like if you go damn near to most of the other divisions, those fights are gonna look a lot better than this one. Just ranking wise. So, you know, not too much to say here. Just a veteran humbling a up and comer to me. Um, Kind of unfortunate that this fight was placed so high considering how it went, but it is what it is. This shit happens sometimes.
Yeah, this fight stunk. Absolutely stunk. 12 significant strikes versus 4. 30 total versus 40 over 15 minutes. I mean, look, Lemos did what she had to do. Got the takedowns early. Um, Lucinda was fine, just kind of staying in her guard, not fine not to get back up. I was more disappointed in Lucindo based on what I saw in the third round, where she exploded, immediately gets the takedown, holds Lemos there almost the whole round, and does the most work in the whole fight right at the end. So I don't know if she was nervous or I don't know if Lemos gassed a little and the strength wasn't there in the third round like it was in the first two, but it was just a weird fight. Lemos won through wrestling somehow. Lemos, though, she's strong. She was just able to kind of out strength, just strong armor, and she got it done. Terrible fight. It was the worst one on the card. Besides the main event, like they were together.
Stop
we, we,
that.
we have to stop putting these type of fights on main cards. Like how I know the Curtis Blades fight fell through, but like how is that not on the main card? But this fight is. How is like Josh Van and Tassuro not on the main card?
Yeah, it just stunk.
A
This
lot of these placements are like not ideal to me, but I do think that like there's a method to what the UFC I think tries to do, which is like keep the crowd engaged through the event. I guess you can't put like a bunch of stinkers in the beginning because then people are gonna be like overall like there was a large part of the night that I wasn't entertained. I think that they kind of try to like sprinkle in bangers through the night usually.
It's a good point.
Um and I think also the prelims are also usually free, right, on ESPN Plus.
Yeah,
So I think that like also when they're trying to like showcase to a larger audience the people that they are trying to showcase, sometimes those people don't get like main card slots just because like less people will literally watch the actual pay-per-views, you know what I mean? Just don't pay for them.
for
Don't
sure.
know how to illegally stream them, you know what I mean? So
What do you mean? But
but yeah, I think that like overall, when you get to the final five fights, like I need bangers there for sure. This
facts.
fight could have been tucked somewhere else for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on though to the opening
Ooh.
of the card.
uh,
Seo Rufi KO's King Green in the first. KO of the year so far, in my opinion. Absolute, just highlight reel. It was an absolute highlight reel KO. I hope King Green's okay. He said in an Instagram post he's all good, but the future is bright for the fighting nerds. Talk to me, guys.
Yeah, I mean, RIP King Green, man. Um, Clark was at my crib for this fight, and like before the fight started, I told him I'm like I think that like Rufy's about to viciously KO Green, and like I'm gonna be both happy and sad about it, and that's about how I felt. Now I'm happy that Rufy got a spectacular highlight reel KO against like a savvy vet like King Green. Um, when I think about it, like in hindsight, the matchup was kind of tailor made for him to get this KO with how much Green likes to keep his hands down. Um, there was no kind of feasible way at this age that like Rufy wasn't gonna find that chin some kind of way or find, I guess the tempo as he found. But the way he did it, devastating fashion, highlight reel fashion. I mean, that shit will live on forever, that KO. I mean, like one of the best I've seen, like you said, KO of the year so far. I loved how Green kind of slumped down perfectly instead of like hitting his head additionally. Because it could have, if he would have fell backwards, it could have been an additional impact with him hitting the canvas. So I'm glad he kind of like crumpled over and kind of went down smooth, kind of slid. It was kind of nice. He seemed okay afterwards, but yeah, holy shit, man. That was a holy shit moment. I was screaming all in my crib. I was like, "Oh fuck, fuck!" Like I was running around the house like it was crazy. Insane moment. One of the best moments of the car, I would say.
Yeah, it was vicious, man. I'm not gonna lie, the way you described that, like I like how he slumped down. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was very Edson Barbosa-esque, a very similar finish. Uh, Not much to say. It was a great finish. He's got a bright future. Still, I think a lot of work to do with gas tank, takedown defense, all that stuff. But
We didn't have to see any of that here.
yeah, against these stand-up guys, he will flourish in this division, I think.
Definitely. What do you guys think is next for Rufy?
Mm, Top 15.
Like, let's talk about these matchups, man. Let's get because slowly but surely, all these fighting nerd guys are itching closer to like the top five in titles.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I mean, he called them out.
We called out
Oh yeah, he
Dariush,
called out
baby.
Dariush. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
Dariush, man, and the UFC is gonna be all too happy to let Dariush get sacrificed as well.
yeah. Dariush is at 9 right now. Um,
That makes
Behind
sense.
him, yeah, you have guys like Moicano, Fiziev, Piblet, Turner, Dawson, BSD. Sacrifice. You should just give it to him, bro. Give him to our Brazilian McGregor.
That's what I mean. Those are all honestly way more dangerous fights for him. So I would like, yeah, just give him Dariush. I think he just gets another masterful KO on that slow 60-year-old right now.
I will say this though, once he beats Dariush and he's ranked at number 9, like it's up from there. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, it's killers
the rest
row.
of the division are some killers, I would say, like that pose significant like issues, I would say. Not to say he wouldn't pass these tests either, but I'm just saying like the cardio has to be better by then for sure because these guys will not go away as easy as King Green and like they will drown you. Like imagine he has to tap in with a Max Holloway right now. Like I don't know about that for him. I don't know
Mm.
about that for him. So
Maybe
yes,
be a
sacrifice Dariush, but like just know after that it's up there. It's up there. Maybe even give him a BSD
yeah,
like
that's what I'm thinking.
first. Just like even though I think he could beat Dariush, I think that a BSD would kind of get him more tuned up for like just the upper echelon of guys once you get past Dariush.
Hmm
With that. All right, well, guys, that concludes the main card. Let's move to the prelims. We had some pretty. It was actually a great prelims from what
Was
I've seen.
definitely.
Uh, what are some highlights you guys want to touch on?
Hey
Hmm.
man, Josh Van, man.
Josh
I
Van,
might,
baby.
I,
I
I think
might,
both these guys have a bright future here.
yeah,
They
I
both
was
do.
impressed with Ray.
I was impressed. I was saying that like for as many takedowns as Josh Van stuffed and like how much like Rui didn't really have too much to offer on the feet for Van. He had an unrelenting grappling pressure that I think would have melted a lot of people. And I think that considering how the fight was going, I kept thinking like even though Josh Van doesn't have a lot of power in his hands, like the accumulation was gonna get Rui tired. Him not having much success at all in the takedowns, spamming them literally all fight. Um, but he never really gave up, and I think that like that kind of pressure, that unrelenting pressure, like would like especially with him like probably against like a little bit of lesser comp, him like securing a couple more of these takedowns. I think that like he could really still beat a lot of guys in this division. Just because like no one really has cardio like that. Like like not no one, but like it is rare. It is a rarity in the sport. Like to be able to spam that many takedowns and not ever stop. Like shooting quality takedowns, not like little half-ass like I'm just reaching because I have to. It's like he was getting low, getting in on the legs, like Van just a little low center of gravity, a little wrecking ball, you know what I mean? Wiggling his way out of there. But yeah, I was impressed with both guys. And Van really put it on him, showed him level, showed him that like, you know, maybe not yet, you know what I mean? Like this UFC level a little different than the outside the UFC.
Yeah, both these guys are so young too.
Yeah, it was like 23, 24, right? I think.
Yeah, like this is crazy. Joshua Van's sick. He has a bright future. Like, and flyweight needs it. Flyweight always needs new and up and comers. So shout out Van.
Shout out Van, man.
Um,
Super.
I know it's Alex Morono, but like I like Leo, man. Like I like him.
I do like Carlos Leo. Yeah, Morono is washed though. I don't know
Yeah,
what we do with him. It might be to BKFC.
Told you.
It
I
might
t-
be
said
it
it.
might be to BKFC for him. Um, Shout out Ozzy Diaz, I guess, man. The Jordan Santos kind of cheeks, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um, he didn't have a lot of good technique in his striking. Fucking a lot of looping shots, kind of gassed out after like round and a half. He looked good a little bit early, but then like once the speed kind of came off the shots a little bit, you kind of saw the technique for what it was, and it was very sloppy. Now he did catch Diaz a lot in the fight. Like I think that he could improve with a little bit more technical training and a little more cardio, but like for now, like back to the drawing board for his ass. I don't know who he trains with, but he's 10-2 now. He's gotta tighten it up real quick. Get with a good camp because this shit not gonna cut it at this level. And then shout out Francis Marshall, man. I did think that he beat Marion Santos, but even though I did bet on Santos, so I was happy with the robbery a little bit selfishly. But the MMA purist in me was like, okay, objectively that was kind of fucked up. Um, but Santos did like look measured outside of getting clipped in round one. I think that he probably would have won that round and then uh won the fight. But yeah, I think that I think he's pretty young. I think he was like 24, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nice little showcase for him to be on a pay-per-view like this young and shit. Like, even if like on the undercard, but still.
Yeah.
And then what else happened on this fucking card?
No,
Oh,
Freya.
Bruno
All of
Ferreira, bro, Armin Petrosian got subbed up, exposing his sus ground game, to be honest. Petrosian always like
He
I'm
is
not
no
gonna
good.
lie, I've lost a lot of money betting on him because like he's really talented in the striking and shit. But then he just finds ways to lose fights. And I'm glad that I picked against him here, and I ended up cashing in on that because Even though I'm not gonna say he's washed or anything, like he could still like win a lot of fights, I would say, but I just thought that Ferreira might just like outgrid him down the stretch. And even though he was getting his ass whipped early, he's just kept the pressure going and then like, eventually got the sub, man. It was decent. So shout out him for like still being scrappy, man. Scrappy little journeyman in there. I fuck with him. That's about it.
Alrighty. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap it up?
I need better pay-per-views. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they were coasting on Pereira's name. I think that they do this a lot. When they have a big star, they just kind of like neglect to build out the card as well for these
They're
pay-per-views.
on their boxing bullshit, bro. Top tier main event, and then the rest of the cards are shit. Not saying this was, but like that's the boxing quota. Like
That is the boxing kit, man. And hey, they're getting into the boxing game, so maybe like they're starting to get a little influence. I don't know what's going on, but I need better undercards, man, going forward, preferably. But shout out the UFC. I mean, the card was decent, like in terms of like the actual performances. So that it's typically like that. I just think that we could have got a couple more big names on this shit, especially with it being like local Joe Rogan on the fucking desk. Like, come on.
Thanks.
All right, but that concludes the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching our recap. Let us know what you thought about the fights in the comments. Please check out the TikToks. We've been pumping a lot of them out. The support means a lot, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.